This is off. That's mine.
Hear it? Something on the speakers though.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
What's that? It's not going through the speakers though. Are you the sound master?
Not working.
This one isn't.
Testing.
It's going through his.
Testing. Testing.
I think going through his headsets, but.
Right now.
Testing.
Testing.
Test. 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 Test.
Is there volume control on that or something?
It's coming through his headset.
It's on the camera.
Okay. What, it didn't work last week or last month?
Not through the speakers.
Yeah.
Grab me.
He's getting it. He's getting on the camera. Technology.
Maybe that's the problem. Hello?
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
This one.
Yeah, that cable just might be.
What's funny is it's going through your ears over there, right?
Right.
Do you want to use
So,
Andy's?
the microphone's not working?
No, the microphones are just not attached to the speakers properly. So some of the microphones are coming out.
They're all working.
Yeah.
Except for
Did
that.
he flip a switch?
Do you want us to?
You can switch seats if you want.
Over here?
I'll just. If he's getting it on that, I'll just speak up.
Okay. You know, the two people in the back row just come a little closer. They just sit up here.
Did he flip his switch? Your switch is on?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll call the Historic Resources Board meeting of Tuesday, May 2nd to order and ask that all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we'll note that all commissioners except Mr. Moore are present this evening. Mr. Moore notified city staff that he's been unable to attend due to a personal obligation.
Put him down for an excused absence then?
Do we need to do that?
Because if you too many misses without an excuse, you are subject to being removed.
Really? That's what the city could?
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, well, I don't
I
know.
move that- I move
What is
that he-
the criteria for excuse
Okay.
absence?
Okay, go ahead and
Oh,
move.
he called in,
That he called in?
and he said he couldn't make
Okay.
it. So I move that he be listed as an excused absence.
I second the motion.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay.
Okay, we have two segments coming up here. One is just public comment.
Oh,
That's what they just did.
Acknowledge the.
And the other was informal project reviews. So they're actually two separate items. So if anybody just has any general public comment, please come forward now. This is for items not on the agenda.
Hi, good evening. My name is Mandisa Snowdy. I'm a resident at 744 Mission Vineyard. June 14th, there's going to be a joint meeting between the City Council and the Planning Commission for discuss.
It's just city council now.
Oh, it's just the council. Oh, okay. Well, leading up to that, thank you for that information. Maybe I'll come by and meet with you sometime. I was going to offer the planning commissioners an opportunity to attend if they wanted any of the educational tours that will be going in the surrounding counties to visit clubs, cultivation sites, testing laboratories, and other marijuana business facilities. And I have business cards for you, so if anyone is interested or has any questions, I'm just available to address any of that. So, but now that you're not going to be included in that meeting, I'm not sure if that's too relevant for you. Thank you.
We might attend. So.
Okay,
Yeah.
Thank you. So yeah, I'll just pass my business cards around, and if you my cell phone number's on there, so feel free to reach out.
Please keep me in the loop.
Thank you for that.
Thank you very much.
It's
In
June
case-
14th at what time?
6. In case you didn't watch the last meeting, there was a very long discussion of how the city wants to handle the both current medical marijuana ban in San Juan Bautista and then the upcoming legal recreational marijuana in the future. And so they've decided to hold a workshop so that they can kind of talk about it a little bit more freely and sort of figure out where each of the city council members stands on it currently, have some more information presented, things like that. They originally were talking about doing a joint meeting, but I think they want to sort of wrestle with it themselves first and then decide whether they're going to kick it to you guys, because if they move forward with something new, it's definitely going to have to come through the whole land use planning aspect, which will be under your oversight. So
Thank you.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Just a reminder, this is the Historic Resources Board.
Oh, it is,
that's
not
in
the
session,
planning.
but that's okay. All right.
Okay. Historically, it will be a.
either way, it wasn't on the agenda.
Thank you for the
More,
clarification.
public comment for the Historic Resources Board?
Yes, I have lay brother Stephen Gerard.
Beloved San Juan Bautista members, I am a Third Order St. Francis, lay brother Stephen Gerard Sidlewski. I'd like to open up my talk for a new aspiration I have for all of you to embrace for a future Mission San Juan Bautista Citizen Overlay Life Peace Zone. This is the banner right here.
Okay.
All the citizens may be interested in that.
Roger.
Before you, you have a colored copy. I'm not going to go into detail about a life peace zone. I'm just going to let you know what I have been doing. I've already informed Darlene Boyd that I've been here mainly because I navigate through the United States doing unique things like petitions. Right now I'm assigned to your District 30 all the way, I think, from King City to Morgan Hill, addressing the affordable housing growing concern and issue throughout California. So that allows me to meet a lot of citizens all over. I would like to tell you, however, my primary purpose, or joy if you will, is to promote new citizen overlay life peace zones. One of the questions you're going to have to answer for me is I have to learn the demographics of the surrounding area, the local area. I don't know if you're a general city or a charter city. I think that will impact how you approach a future historic life peace zone. Okay? So I will need you to answer that question. Maybe one of you will know that answer and can answer that sometime before I leave. Please take a look at this little flyer. It talks about 4 levels of life peace zones. You could choose to do all 4 of them. You might only be interested in one of the 4 levels, okay, of life peace zones. And I'll let you know that I really love, because Mother's Day is coming up, I love fatherhood, motherhood, and childhood. And I'm hoping that you'll embrace especially the level 1 form of a life peace zone, and it's spoken about on the 2nd page, okay? In essence, I believe that cities and citizens have the responsibility and right and loving preference and guidance to move in and add a new chapter into zoning law. That's how you're going to legally codify a new citizen overlay life peace zone, okay? At some point in the future, I'll be meeting with, for instance, I'll be working with all churches, but I hope to be meeting with Bishop Garcia for a 2nd or 3rd time this coming Sunday at Mission Carmel to talk about a proposed plan, because he has 7 missions in his diocese, okay? So he's going to be very interested in my diplomacy of life. And all of you are going to be important, because I can tell you that a former bishop who's already passed away always posed one question to me. They would say, Brother Steve, how are the citizens embracing this? And I usually tell the bishop, I feel too slow. And they usually tell me, keep going, it's going to take time, okay? What's unique that I've learned about San Juan Bautista is, I guess all of you go to the post office. You don't get your mail at your houses. So from a logistical standpoint, it's going to be a lot easier for me or a future Life Peace Zone liaison to educate the citizens, because that's really what it's going to be, the big hurdle of educating citizens in this new direction, okay? thank you very much. I see my time is very nil to nothing now. I'll be in the back. And if anybody would like something to put above your light switch to remind you about a future Mission San Juan Bautista Life Peace Zone, I have a little light switch label. Okay? God bless all of you. Thank you for all the good work you do.
She would like one.
Thank you. Additional public comment? Okay, I see none, and we have no more cards. The next item, I assume we don't have any informal project reviews that should be notified. Is there anybody in the public that wishes to come forward with any kind of informal project review? Okay.
As a general rule, we like to have fill out an application for informal presentations.
Now, we had 2 for Planning Commission, but I'm not seeing either of the gentlemen currently, so we'll see if they show up in time for their.
Okay.
Yeah. They weren't in the historic zone.
I'm sorry.
They weren't in the historic zone, so that's why they didn't make it onto this agenda.
All right, thank you. Okay, item number 4, consent items. Do I have a motion, or is there any member of the public or of the commission that wishes, from the board, I should say, I'm sorry, that wishes to pull any items from the consent agenda?
I'd like to pull D, please.
Okay, item D. Any other items? Look for a motion to approve items A through C.
Move to approve items A through C on the consent agenda.
Second. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Okay, no opposition.
Where are you going to where are you going to put D?
Let's discuss item D now.
Okay.
Commissioner
Rios, just a quick, under number 3A, when you're talking about property on Pat Garrett, presenting the plans, I did recuse myself from that.
Oh, that's right.
And I'd like to
Thank you.
That's all I need.
Okay, so motion to correct the minutes, item D, relative to the Garrett item that he recused himself. Do I have a second? Oh, I'll make that motion. Do I have a second?
I second it.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Item 5, consider recommendation to planning commission for a sign permit for Credo Studio at number 1 Polk Street. I've been informed by fellow commissioner, excuse me, oh man,
You can be okay.
that she'd like to recuse herself.
Yes, I would like to recuse myself as I am the visual arts director of this establishment. Thank you.
Thank you. Staff report, please.
Ramona Hill came before you previously for an informal project review for her sign. Now she's bringing it to you officially. So she's requesting a sign permit approval for a sign for Credo Studio, an art studio at 1 Polk Street. The proposed sign is 36 inches wide by 24 inches high, double-sided with the same image on both sides. If you want to hold that up for him. Oval, not obviously that shape.
This is the 2 by 3 feet, but it will be a different shape.
Yeah. With a photo embossed on aluminum. It has a total area of, sorry, I had to correct you because it's not 6 feet. It's 4.71 feet for an oval.
When you make yellow. Good job.
I know I had to refresh my math skills with semi-major axis times semi-minor axis times pi.
Thank you.
But anyway, we got the proper area, and it is nowhere close to the limit for the total side area of the building, so it's fine. So similar to the 18th barrel sign, you have to go through the projecting signs section of the design guidelines, and I'm not going to read through them all, but it complied with all of the categories for a projecting sign, and so staff recommends that you discuss this and then possibly make a recommendation to Planning Commission to approve.
Okay. Did you have anything you wanted to add to that?
This is the true color. Your drawing there looks kind of brown. So this is plum gold. The logo is designed by Shipper Design, so that's just a nice little aside. I'm sorry.
Can you show that to the public, please?
Oh, to the public, yes. Isn't it pretty? I love it.
Thank you.
And the camera.
And the camera.
How's that?
No such thing as too much advertising.
Yeah, thank you. And I guess you all know that we drive across the road here, and that, I don't know if you have any questions about my business or anything else.
Can you get closer to the microphone?
Sure.
Thank you.
If there's no objection, I'll open the public comment and then bring it back to you for questions. Any public comment on the item? Okay, I see none. Commissioners, do you have any questions?
I like it.
No? Look for a motion on the item.
Move to recommend to the Planning Commission that the sign permit for, at 1 Polk Street for the Credo sign be approved.
I'll second that. All those in favor, aye?
And insurance.
Okay, motion carries.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Awesome.
Could somebody, tell Darlene she could come back in. Thank you.
That's right. Carol. Yeah. I'll talk to her about that.
So we're just signing this agreement. She has insurance and all sorts of.
Right. But it's not a separate encroachment permit, right?
I can just ask, and what's the next step for me? Do I come and pick up a permit, or is there anything that I need to do?
This next meeting we're about to have will most likely approve this.
Oh, okay.
They're meeting as this separate body right now, the Historic
Okay.
Resources Board. So right now they're just recommending to themselves, basically,
Yes.
that they
Okay.
approve it.
Okay, thank you.
More exciting stuff to come on your side. I said that out loud. All right.
I heard that.
Okay, comments. Fellow board members, any comments?
None.
City manager?
None?
Community development director?
Not at this time.
Motion to adjourn the May 2nd meeting of the Historic Resources Board. So moved. I'll second that. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We'll now open the meeting of the Planning Commission of Tuesday, May 7th, 2017. The chair will note that Commissioner Moore notified staff that he was unable to attend, and would look for a motion to excuse his absence.
I move that we credit Commissioner Moore with an excused absence.
I seconded.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, public comment, please. Seriously.
You can always tell us how good a job we're doing.
Right?
That's right.
Yes, we're-
Okay, so I see on item 3, informal project review, this is an opportunity for people that have a thought about a project that they might want to see on the future agendas for approval to come forward. I know that we have 2. The first one is solar panel carport at Windmill Market, 301 the Alameda, presented by Robert Hines. Do we have a staff report on that?
Mr. Hines came in.
Wait a minute, he's not here?
He's not here, so I was just going
I
to.
recommend this be continued because the applicant should be here because this is a informal project review and it should not be a staff presentation but an applicant presentation, at least informally to get the feeling of what the commission of the city wants.
Yeah,
I agree.
that's basically what I was going to say. Is that he didn't give me many details.
And again, I think there should be some drawings or some sketches as to what he may or may not want to do. We have nothing but, yeah, we should do this. Let's get something
Solid.
solid that we can, at least we can look at.
Yeah.
Let's
Both
keep
of them
thinking
filled out
about.
the applications for this, but then never got back with any details or materials or anything. So
Good
Okay,
reason.
so I don't see, so item B.
Move to continue solar panel, actually, it's not even an item, just to drop it.
Yeah, so I don't see Mr. Gibson present either. Okay, so I guess just for the record, we just reflect that
We drop
had
both.
this request and we did not hear any presentation.
Okay.
Thank you, Bernie. All right, action items. Should this be consent agenda? No, these are all separate items. Okay, so item A, approve of affidavit of posting the agenda. Motion to,
Well, it's a consent agenda. I would pull C.
It's not, it's action.
consent agenda. I thought it was, but it's not.
Well, it's a pretty simple item. Oh, it's an action item. It should have been consent. Okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay, so, yeah, these look like action items. All right, so, well, there's one could have been, but anyway.
Move to approve the affidavit.
Now
Move
I'm
to
confused.
approve the affidavit of posting agenda as being complete as presented by the deputy city clerk.
I'll second that. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, item B, consider a sign permit for Credo Studios at 1 Polk Street as recommended by the Historic Resources Board.
I'm going to recuse myself once more. Thank you.
You, Darlene, you just stay there.
Okay.
She's not going to vote. What damage is she?
No, I'm supposed to leave the room.
No, that's the way business is conducted. If you're within so many
I've
feet,
never seen that in the code, but that's okay.
it's state law. It's state law, the Brown Act.
Well, this isn't a Brown Act item.
Oh, it
So-
surely is.
okay,
Anything on this
so,
agenda.
Do we want to hear the staff report again?
Yeah. If you want me to.
So I'd look for a motion to approve the sign for Credo Studio at number 1 Polk Street as recommended by the Historic Resources Board.
Ask for any public comments before you do that.
Okay,
And
any
then I'll
public
make.
comment on that item?
Okay, there being no public comments, I move that based on the information presented to us, that this item is within the historic district and has met all the specific items required, the guidelines for such an item to be placed. And so I move that we approve resolution number 2017
16, do we have this?
Yeah.
16,
16.
a resolution of the Planning Commission of the City of San Juan Bautista approving the sign permit application for Credo Studio at 1 Polk Street within the historic district.
And I would recommend that that be subject to conforming with the sign ordinance.
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure that she understands that all signs that protrude over the right-of-way require the applicant to hold harmless the city and to post the necessary insurance in case that sign does fall on a pedestrian.
Are you aware of this?
Yes.
Then I read something about that, and so what you need is a declaration page for my insurance company, or what do you need on that?
It's a whole harmless agreement that you come in and sign.
Okay,
Yes.
okay,
Hold harmless the city from any liability as a result of giving permission for that sign hanging over a public right-of-way.
so I come here to City Hall and sign that?
Yes.
Okay,
Right.
absolutely.
It appears that everything that we're looking for is already implied, requirements stated in the San Juan Bautista Municipal Code.
Yes.
Would you like to have anything specifically listed?
No, I just wanted to point it out to her.
I just wanted to make sure she
Oh, okay.
understood that, right?
Yeah.
Because she asked about next steps, so we.
Okay.
Right, yeah.
So we have a second on this?
If we don't, I'll second it. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
No, I think colorful signs, attract attention. And people looking up and down streets, something to draw them in.
And we have a new colorful building across the street that's already being painted, and then we have a new sign. It's going to be a good-looking upgrades on the street.
Dressing up the block a little bit.
Yeah.
Might even get more people to City Hall here. Unless you don't want more people to City Hall. Yeah, as if you had nothing else to
It
do.
depends.
Okay, so the next item is a invitation to a joint meeting with the City of Hollister Planning Commission, and actually it should read as well as the County Planning Commission. I think you guys discussed this last meeting when I was away, but specifically the request is just to have a meeting, which I think they'd probably like to have, at the beginning of each year as the commissions change. This meeting would be on the 23rd.
May?
May 23rd,
Yeah.
correct?
May 23rd, yes ma'am, thank you. And the only, so this is a very informal discussion. It would not be mandatory for anyone to
Veterans
attend.
Building at
The things they'd like to talk about are, zoning maps, projects approved that are in the pipe, just kind of an update status report, by each body, and a general discussion about affordable housing.
Now, items to, is this in each jurisdiction or is it outside the area? What kind of items are they going to talk about on that one?
So, for instance, for us, we would just give a report saying, we have this many projects in the pipeline. We have approved since the beginning of the year this many projects. We don't have any immediate projects that are, being considered that would impact the Affordable Housing Act. Those types of things.
Now, housing will be a separate item. I mean, is there an agenda for this thing yet?
They will form the agenda so those are the topics that they would like to discuss. They will post an agenda once we all agree to attend. The Hollister City and the county have both agreed to this meeting, so we're the last in that loop because our meeting came last.
What time is this?
It doesn't specify.
I think they said 6.
Like I said,
previously.
we're back
In
to
the
square
evening?
one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So again, you don't have to attend. So.
No, that's not the point. The point is this is a good idea. And these conferences, well done, are very, very beneficial, especially for the people living out behind the commissioners, citizens saying, hey, what's happening? These three agencies meld. I mean, they affect each other. But if you don't put it on as a professional, polished thing, like the last year they were saying, well, we're going to have a planning commission meeting and we'll stick it in the middle. That's not how you do these things. You have to have a separate venue. You have all three agencies there. You have round table or whatever. Notification of the public, and then it works. But then you got to have
An agenda.
Agenda. It's very clear, so anyone picks it up saying, "Hey, this is for real."
And I think what Commissioner Franco was really talking about, and we've grappled with this over the last 5 years. The county controls the land use around us in our sphere of influence.
Yeah.
And there has been kind of a lack of communications where projects all of a sudden show up right in our sphere of influence and we don't know about it. And I think this venue here is the proper venue to get that relationship and collaboration going with the county, because there could be a major subdivision right outside our boundaries and nobody knows about it,
Yeah,
What's
so I
coming down the
think,
pipe.
so
And
what you said is what they're proposing.
Yeah.
And I think what you're suggesting, which politically it could help to forge that bond.
Bond, yes.
So I think that would be the reason for doing
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Yeah.
So is this going to be a freestanding? Meeting?
Yeah, it's a freestanding meeting. It's not, it's not,
It's not part of anybody else's.
No.
If we're going to have our meeting from 7 to 9, and we'll talk to you later.
no.
Okay.
You see they did that last year?
They tried to.
They tried to. They didn't really know what they were doing. They didn't have an agenda.
I
They
don't think
didn't.
any of us know what we're doing.
Well, no, but this, like I
But we
said,
can put together
John.
agendas.
So anyway, it's an informal discussion. It's not mandatory for anybody to attend. But I think it's better, go ahead, I'm sorry.
And also I'd like to just point out is there has been some significant personnel changes in the county planning.
Yes.
We
Very,
used to have
very true.
a good relationship with a lot of them, but now they're all new players, and I think this is the opportunity to forge this dialogue with them, because it's our sphere and it's really
Yeah.
so important.
And I think that one of the things that I would request that we have on the agenda is just kind of and if you could attend, Matt, great, but if you can't, just kind of a general overall update about our planning department.
what they're looking for
Where we are.
planning commissioners.
I'm sorry.
They're looking for planning commissioners, not staff.
But we would invite our staff to
Yeah,
give us.
but I mean, the key thing is, you said it's not mandatory. The thing is, it's only going to work if commissioners attend.
Right.
We're the decision makers.
Okay, so if you want to go, go.
I just tried to figure out.
Well, before I would go, I want to know what I want to go to.
Yeah.
That's all I've ever had to worry about.
So,
I think the overall intent is absolutely fabulous. It's now is how it's structured. That's going to, where the rubber meets the road in terms of getting everybody acknowledged to say, hey, the whole planning process of San Benito County, there's only 3 agencies, San Benito County, City of Hollister, and San Juan, and they should be all working together.
Yeah, so when and where?
So,
So did you know that last year Supervisor Botello and his planning director came before us and told us what was happening in the county? We made a special point of inviting him. Say, hey, you're a supervisor, tell us what's happening outside our city limit line. And he came. So, that was a start. But I think 3 agencies talking, 3 commissioners, agencies of commissioners talking would be really good.
Who originally called for this?
So it was either Carol or Pat contacted me. They're both the chairs of the boards or commission. And thought that in the spirit of just what Roger was outlining, that it would be beneficial to just have a joint roundtable discussion, very informal, just kind of updates, on what we see on the radar. Obviously, we can't talk specifically about anything that we might act on. To hear some updates from staff, as Roger pointed out, they've had a lot of changes at the county level and their staffing, what they're facing there. I think it's just, and I don't know what happened in the past, but to me it was clear that it was just attempting to forge a relationship between the 3 bodies so that in the future, we could have that, the shared joint resources or information on things that might affect us all. Things that come to mind me, there might be a new state bill that would impact something like affordable housing or cultivation of marijuana or something like that. So if we knew that we had this joint collaboration, it could forge an opportunity to contact each other and kind of be on the same sheet of music is what we'd like to see from our legislators, et cetera, because it impacts our entire scopes of it. That was my...
I support the idea. Now, who's representing us to them in this planning field? Is it you directly, or?
In what regard?
I mean, three agencies are getting together, and who's representing each one of them to work the agenda?
Anybody that wants to attend.
No. I'm talking about the planning for the meeting to set it up.
I would, as my role as chair.
Okay, so then, but then you know what our feelings are, especially mine, what I'm concerned about.
So what I was going to say is I'd like to see 2 things here. Number 1, a motion to approve having such a meeting.
Supporting
and number 2, to ask that any of you or staff that have any items they'd like to see on that agenda to be discussed, please forward those to me so I can share those, because we do need to post a joint meeting notice, for the public, so it's noticed properly. So I'd look for a motion to approve this joint meeting. Sorry, my email just closed and quit unexpectedly. What date did I say it was?
23rd?
Of May 23rd,
Yeah.
with the time to be, time and place to be announced. They discussed the Veterans Building, but that has not been decided. It would be in House.
Public comment.
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Definitely,
Tuesday.
Georgiana Galari, 1 Street. Definitely the public is going to be invited.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Thank
Well, it's
you.
a public meeting, so.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And at some point, we'll tell you what it's about.
So we decide.
As soon as somebody
It'll be
knows.
on the agenda, Georgiana.
Maybe.
All right. Okay, any further public comment? All right, so motion to approve.
Well, since I do support it, I'll move that this planning commission support the concept of a meeting and basically delegate to the chairman to take all of our thoughts from today's meeting forward when they're putting together the agenda and how strong we feel about it, and that all those who can make it should go.
And could I ask you to add to your motion and that staff and/or fellow commissioners forward to me by, let's say, Friday, any additional specific items they'd like to be on the agenda?
Okay.
Okay.
Including items of the staff and commissioners would want to have discussed. Turn in by, is it Friday?
Friday would be great.
Okay.
And I think, John, the key to it is when you meet with the other, there is proper noticing is very important.
Yes.
Where it has to get out.
Yes, so she's got to send out next Friday. So
Yeah.
we need an agenda and
Oh, right.
the notice by next Friday.
That's
Yeah,
right.
that's why I was hoping that you guys would get to me by this Friday. I'm going to be traveling next week, so I'd like to get it to them over the weekend so that we can get that agenda together. Now, okay, so thank you for that. Do I have a second?
I second it.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, that motion carries. So, Matt or Trish, help me here. So, they talked about putting together a single meeting notice agenda and then posting. Is that proper, or do we have to post our own
So
stuff?
we have to post it in San Juan Bautista at the three places, so yeah, they could just forward that to me, I will, the body, the whole agenda will be the same, I might switch, if it says joint.
If it has all
meeting
three of
with
them on
the
it.
three bodies,
Yeah.
that's good.
Okay, so Trish, what I'll do is I'll email them telling that we voted to approve that tonight. I'll copy you and ask that you help coordinate
Great.
the posting here. Okay, thank you so much, everyone. All right. Okay, item D, I see you guys want to reschedule the July Planning Commission meeting because of my birthday, is that correct?
Yeah, America.
Only if you're bringing the cake.
All right, so what day will we want, let's see.
The sparklers are
Is there a recommended day to move that to?
July 4th.
I don't know if you want
There's a calendar over there.
Wednesday the 5th or the following Tuesday, but I think the following,
You know, I'd like to avoid that whole week myself.
Oh, no. I'm sorry.
Could be the 11th, yeah.
I maybe.
Well, we might have to move strategic planning committee.
that's just strategic planning committee, but they don't get.
We might be moving that anyway. We're going to vote that at the next meeting. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to be out of town the next week.
I'll be gone till the 20th. Oh, you'll be out gone till the 20th? Okay. Well, unfortunately, I don't think we can wait that long. Is everybody else okay with the 11th?
No,
No.
I said I'm probably going to be out of town that week.
Yeah, I'll be out of town. And I don't know, and the 18th is city council?
Yeah.
Yeah. Third
Wow. Okay,
Tuesday.
so let's move it, so we have to have a quorum. We don't know Andy's schedule, so,
What's around with the
That
5th?
was next month also.
Yeah, it's true. We have some time.
okay.
Put
So
one of those doodle surveys
So
out.
I look
Doodle.
for a motion to continue this item.
Move to continue to the June meeting.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, item 5, creating a list of staff projects for fiscal year. Matt or Roger, you want to take the lead on that?
This was just, I think, coming up on this month's agenda and it being so light and the fact that there was a little break in the planning applications. I definitely have stuff to do in terms of internal city things and things for city council. But we've really been sort of being reactive as a planning commission, HRB, and I wanted to give planning commissioners the opportunity to put together a list of things they'd like to consider sort of proactively. And I know Darlene or Commissioner Boyd at the last meeting mentioned wanting to put together, a list of items to consider as well. So I just wanted to give you guys an agendized chance to talk about items you might want to see on future agendas, issues you might want to consider, things like that.
I have one. I'd like to see us look at the overall traffic flow and parking plan for downtown.
I think that's a good one.
That's a good topic, yeah.
think there's a lot to talk about that. I mean,
Yes.
And what got me thinking about it was when we were talking about the stop sign down here, and then I drove those streets, and I know like Franklin Street, maybe should be a one-way street, and I think there's an opportunity to do some on 3rd Street, some what do they call it, traffic calming, and so anyway, I think that's a whole topic we can discuss, and maybe have the whole formal process, Matt. Public input workshop.
Traffic circulation and parking in the downtown.
That's exactly what I said, and that's what I'm taking credit for. Darlene or Commissioner Boyd, any other items?
Yes, I have a list of them, but I wanted to kind of talk them over with the mayor first, because he's the one that appointed me. So,
Okay.
but I will send them on down.
And if you guys want to compile, send them to me, I'll compile a list and I can bring it
Okay.
back the next meeting too. That might be easier than putting everybody on the spot right now.
Yeah, I can't remember all of them.
Yeah.
Mr. Franklin, anything?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. So since we're talking about this item, is there any members of the public that might have things that they'd like to see us work on as priorities? Yes, sir.
I was just thinking maybe the youth commission needs to be in on this as far as the items that need to be addressed for the fiscal year, and also the strategic plan committee, who seems to be working on a lot of items too as well.
Good idea.
So that should all be part of the list of things that need to be done, I guess. Just as an idea.
Anything else, Roger?
You could talk about it.
I would love to see a dialogue at the plan commission level of linear parks, parkways and linears spelled out in our general plan. I think
What does that mean, linear?
linear parks means parks as they follow creeks.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yes.
roads and streets. And
Trails.
They're aligned.
not just parks, but just linear parks.
Which reminds me, I do have one more. I'd like to see a discussion relative to the open space land that borders Washington.
By your house?
Yeah, Washington, Franklin, not Franklin, Washington and Lane.
Yes.
And all that area. And I'll just share a little bit of history there. When I was on the city council many years ago, we in closed session authorized the city manager to go bid on that property because it was in foreclosure. And it's set aside to be open space forever. It can't be built on. We can't do anything tricky like, do a land swap for something. But I think that needs to be studied because people ask me about that all the time. Not only because I live up there, but because they remember that I was involved. So I think we could put together a really great forum as to what we should do with that rather than mow it every year and hope it doesn't catch on fire. It might be something that we could hire a grant writer and actually develop that area into a nice little park or something.
Who owns it now?
The city.
Yeah, we do.
Oh, we own it.
We own it.
I know a couple people have come to me about the dog park there.
Yeah.
That was one of the things. I did learn a little bit about that piece of property. It was an encampment prior to World War I, a training encampment. So it'd be interesting what we find if we do start moving some soil. I'll
Ordnance.
volunteer my metal detecting skills to clear the lot.
Ordinance.
But you know what? That could be part of the other brilliant idea that Roger had, that whole discussion about trails and walkable spaces.
And I know I've explored the park and how to develop that. Unfortunately, it only has a 20-foot easement across the parcel. That's the only access.
Yeah.
And I think that should be a discussion to how to increase the access to it so that we can have a free. I would even approach the person that owns that about sharing the right-of-way and sharing the cost of putting a road in there so that we could have unfettered access to that. And that would pave the way for a good park development as well as dog park as well as recreational park.
We could do a mixed, you could even have a mixed.
Yeah.
The easement, is it It's up off of Lang, isn't it?
No, it's an easement, is adjacent to the homes on Lang Street, right at the corner, and it's parallel to that, and it goes back to the 3 acres.
So the yellow house right
It
next
comes
to that?
off of
Rosebat's
Washington,
place?
and
Okay.
then it goes parallel with those houses, and then right there, you know.
Yeah, I think George Gray still owns that house.
Yeah, George Gray still owns it, and I've been talking with him over the last 3 or 4 years.
Okay. I've known pretty well, I can maybe talk to him too.
Yeah.
If you can find him, he's pretty,
Yes.
he's all over the place.
Well, he's trying to get a new tenant in that house right now, so he's probably available.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
one last
Yes.
comment. Former Commissioner Madero's had an idea that he said, involved the Youth Commission. Since the Youth Commission and the Strategic Planning Commission and us all deal with basically the same items for the cause for the improvement of the city. This meeting you're talking about in Hollister, we could have a joint meeting of all 3 bodies and say, look, you guys are putting together, you guys are implementing the plans that we developed over here. You guys are the next generation to do this. Let's have a discussion. And we could probably put a nice conference together for them.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
So we're adding that to Matt's list here, that's what we're doing?
I'm putting it on there.
You said you had nothing else to do, right?
Yeah, nothing.
Oh, you got plenty to do. I was at the last city council meeting, so.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, city manager comments?
No?
Great.
Yeah, go ahead. Rumors are running around town that they're tearing the balcony off the Casa Rosa. I've been putting fires out left and right, because even my mom has sent me text messages asking me if they're tearing the place apart. So I just don't, just in case you hear it, or it may, I just don't want you to be blindsided by it, but I don't know who started them or why, but it's...
I know they took the vines out, and they're going to have to replace anything in kind that they do to the balconies. So,
And that's what I've been telling them, is it just needs repair, desperate,
I mean, Roger and I did a walkthrough there last week or the week before, and I mean some of those ivy vines were growing through the floor into the house, and I mean, I almost didn't want to walk out on that balcony because I didn't think it would
I was going
support
to say,
the
we
two
don't
of
want
us.
it falling on people's heads, right?
Structurally, there is some major significant deterioration that has to be addressed.
So for sure it will be done because they won't open that restaurant until it meets all the historical resources.
Yeah,
codes.
but that's, like I said, it's just, there was some specific detail about that in San Juan, and their discussion about the maintaining the whatever you call that detail, the most current. Yeah.
And they're working with the historic architect. That wasn't just a one-time thing with that report. They're actually working with that architect on how to do the whole thing and do it properly. And then we're going to have our eyes on them too. So they're not going to do anything we don't know about. So.
And half the city will be watching it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
And there might be neighbors watching too, I think, pretty closely.
If you tear apart a building in downtown, it turns into a theater. If you have a fire in downtown, it turns into a theater. I mean, there's a lot of... And,
A lot of
where we're
theater.
at, the whole kind of subjects of the historic buildings. I was told by Anthony Canaggio that this building is older than the 30s because his father had a bakery here in the 1920s. So,
which building?
The
18th barrel?
18th barrel, yeah. So I know in the report we had from the historic architect, he said something like 1933, but according to Anthony, it's older than that. So I'd be just curious if we can, just for just for the historic record, but I mean, the place is a fortress. Well, whoever built it, knew how to build a fortress.
It's almost like a bunker.
That's the Alamo.
Well, if you're making illegal booze, you'd want a fortress.
Well, no, it was a bakery. And then it was a bar. And then the oven was torn out of it, which was terrible. I guess it was the same kind of oven.
Oh, wow.
Across the street. So that's just over the years. And then a couple restaurants.
And then across the street was a pharmacy.
Yeah, right here.
Okay, I look for a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you for coming tonight, both of you.